What's going on, everybody? Eyecee here, and welcome to another NBA video. This one is for November 8th 11 game slate. Before I get right into it, a quick recap into my night last night. Almost took down the GPP 25th, 29th, 34th place finishes. Almost took down the Showdown 5th place finish, 2.5 points away. Killed my cash games, top 5 finish in almost every single one. Tiers, I don't usually play tiers, but I did well in here too. I profited, so not mad, glad. And this was an early entry GPP. I didn't profit here, but I didn't really lose money. I pretty much won my whole buy-in back. Almost everything cashed. Not almost everything, but the ones that did won me my buy-in back. So overall, a great night for me. A lot of the guys that I talked about yesterday's video did really well. I posted this on Twitter 30 minutes before lock. 9 out of 15 players here did really well. I think I might start posting these on a regular basis. So if you don't already, follow me on Twitter at Eyecee DFS. And if you guys want access to my spreadsheet, DM me on Twitter with your email and I will share you my spreadsheet. But that's enough of that stuff. You guys are here for the take. As always, if you guys are new to the channel and you haven't yet subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. It's the only thing that helps me grow. Everything I do here is free, out of my own free will. I hope to make people profitable. I hope to give people good information so they can make good plays. So yeah, the only thing that can help me grow the channel is the subscriptions and the likes. So if you don't mind, please go ahead and do those, and I promise you, you will have a fantastic DFS night. You'll have good voodoo vibes. Alright, so hit those like and subscribe button. And yeah, let's get into today's video. We have a lot to cover. I'm not going to be going too in depth about some of these guys, but I'm just going to generally talk about my favorite plays on each team. So first game of the night we have here is the Detroit Pistons up against the Indiana Pacers. Indiana Pacers are a little bit undermanned, missing some of their key cogs here. However, Detroit's in a prime position here with Andre Drummond being my favorite play. Andre Drummond routinely rinses the Pacers, and with no Miles Turner, I really like Andre Drummond. To make matters even better, Derrick Rose is still out, so the usage will be elevated for Drummond, and so long as he stays out of foul trouble, which he has been, I don't mind Drummond at all. He's my favorite play on the Detroit Pistons side. After Drummond, Markieff Morris and Langston Galloway are the two guys I feel comfortable playing in some capacity. Markieff Morris and Langston Galloway I won't be getting to too much, but I will have them in some lineups. I'm mostly going against Markieff Morris because he's going to be highly owned here. People are going to be chasing a repeat performance. He's very capable of doing it, but I wouldn't mind going against the field here. Markieff Morris has put up some stinkers this year, so I'm hoping that's the case if I do go against it. But he's going to be in some of my lineups for sure. It's not a complete fade for me, but I am going to use this guy in this position as one of my key pivot spots. Langston Galloway has been filling in well as a replacement guard. He's also having to bring the ball up at times, and honestly, compared to Bruce Brown, I'd rather just play Langston Galloway. Bruce Brown's too expensive now. He's risky. So Langston Galloway is 4K. He has decent upside. He gets good minutes, and it's a GPP play only for me. So Langston Galloway is someone I'm going to be considering. And I'm on the fence with Luke Kennard. Okay, his price has gone up 6,200, which I personally feel is too high, even though I know the situation warrants it. The usage has been there, the minutes have been there, the matchup is there today. It's just this price is a little steep for me in my opinion, and there's other guys at this price that I wouldn't mind getting to as well. So I'm not going to have too much Luke Kennard as I did in the previous games, but I'm still going to have some. I'm on the fence with him. If any news opens up throughout the day, then I will give him a bump. On the Indiana Pacers, my favorite play is Malcolm Brogdon with no Jeremy Lamb, with no Jeremy Lamb in the lineup, or Miles Turner for that matter. Malcolm Brogdon's usage is at a very nice level. He has double-digit assist upside. He has great rebounding upside. He can get steals. The peripherals are all there. He's scoring at a great rate. Some of the games he's not as efficient as he usually been, but he's just taking a lot more shots than he has been in his career. It's a real great spot for him. The price is fantastic for the upside. He has real 50 DraftKings points upside, so definitely someone I'm going to be considering. TJ Warren is the other guy I'm going to be considering. He's put in a string of consistent games, so I don't mind getting the TJ Warren either. 6,100 is a fantastic price for the amount of minutes he's getting and the usage he's getting on the floor. Plus, this matchup is not a tough matchup for him. I personally like TJ Warren a little bit more than Malcolm Brogdon. He's probably my most owned Pacers tonight. Domantas Sabonis, I'm not really going to be playing at this price. You guys can play him. He's always in play. He's a real terrific player. A lot of what the Pacers do really revolves around Sabonis, even when Turner's playing. The fact that Turner's out really elevates his usage even further. His importance in the team also goes up. But it's just the price. At this price, there's other guys I wouldn't mind getting to, like someone like Vucevic, right? Like similar type of players, similar roles. So not someone I'm really going to be getting to a lot tomorrow, Sabonis, but definitely a viable play. He has upside. It's just the price that personally puts me off. And then between Justin Holiday, TJ Leaf, Doug McDermott, additional usage for these guys if Miles Turner stays out. Bitadze is also out. He was one of the main guys taking a bulk of the minutes there. But with him out, these guys are really going to have to fill in a little bit more. TJ Leaf would be the guy, in my opinion, that would get the most of the bump there. They've been really high on TJ Leaf going back to last year. He's a very athletic guy, and they're probably going to see how he sizes up with Drummond here. He hasn't done well against Drummond in the past, but he's gotten better each and every game. So someone to consider if we get confirmation that Miles Turner is out. But I'm not playing these guys in much high capacity, but TJ Leaf is the one guy I wouldn't mind getting at. Next game, Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Washington Wizards. So I hate everybody on the Cavaliers except for Tristan Thompson and Kevin Love, in all honesty. These two guys are in a good matchup here against Washington, who have really struggled against centers so far this year. Washington's also been playing at a decent pace. There's a lot of upside for the opposition to score. So I really like Tristan Thompson and Kevin Love here. I personally like Tristan Thompson more than Kevin Love. The 9,300 price is high enough that kind of deters me somewhat. So not overly too excited about Kevin Love, but definitely in play based on how he's played and considering the fact he didn't hit value last game, so his ownership is going to be a little bit lower. I like that. Jordan Clarkson, Mr. Six-Man candidate in my books. He's been coming off the bench. He's been doing a damn good job for the Cavaliers, and even though the Cavaliers stink, Jordan Clarkson has been a really good spark for them off the bench. And he's really proving his worth in his league as a knockdown shooter. He's not scared of the competition. He's confident. It's just sometimes he's inefficient. So far to start the season, he's been good, and I don't mind getting to some Jordan Clarkson. 4,800 is a price that's kind of getting up there now, which kind of makes me a little worried. And honestly, on an 11-game slate, I'd get to some other guys, but he's one of the guys I don't mind on this Cavalier side. And then C.D. Osman, honorable mention, 4,400. He started off the year really, really bad, but the last few games he's picked it up, and I've liked what I've seen from him, so I don't mind playing him at this price in GPPs. He has good upside, the ownership will be low, and if he has a great game, then he's definitely set me apart from the rest, so he's in consideration. I'm on the fence with him. On the Washington Wizards side, my favorite play is Thomas Bryant. He's probably my favorite play every single time the Washington Wizards play, because I really love this kid. He's had some great games so far, but some not so great games. But if you look at the games the Wizards have played, Thomas Bryant has gone up against some of the best centers in the league, and he's held his own on most of the occasions. Against Kevin Love and Tristan Thompson is another challenge that faces him. However, I think he's going to be in a good spot here. He does have decent help with Davis Bertans, Mo Wagner, Rui Hachimura. They help him out with their size and strength, so Thomas Bryant is someone that has a really good usage on this team, someone that's continuing to improve each and every day. Very young player, one of the youngest on this team. He has huge potential. The Wizards hit a diamond in the rough with this kid, and personally one of my favorite players to watch. I know he's let people down so far to start the season. He hasn't been as consistent as he was last year. The price has been up, but now it's back to 6,700, so it's a reasonable price. Still a little bit overpriced, but we know he has good upside. He can drop 45 DraftKings points on any given night. This is a particular matchup which is really good for him, so I don't mind getting to Thomas Bryant at all. Aside from Thomas Bryant, Bradley Beal and CJ Miles are both of the other guys that I feel confident playing. Bradley Beal, at this price, it seems nice. IT is the only reason I don't really play more Beal. Ever since IT has been into the starting lineup, Bradley Beal's shots have gotten a little bit tougher, and the volume has gone down a little bit. But Bradley Beal can definitely get it done. 65 DraftKings point upside on any given night. It just takes him to get super, super hot for him to destroy the slate. So Bradley Beal is probably going to be one of the lower owned point guards tonight, and definitely someone I'm personally going to be playing. CJ Miles, he has 2 games under his belt now. Both of them, he's been great. Definitely a great GPP play for me. 4,100 is a great price for CJ Miles. You can get hot in limited amount of minutes. Aside from that, Davis Bertans is the guy I'm on the fence with. He rebounded well against Indiana the other day. He had a great game after a poor performance the other night. His shot is beautiful to watch, man. I personally just love Davis Bertans' 3-point shot. He's taking a lot of 3-point shots on this team. He's a key component to their offense, even if he's coming off the bench. His minutes are fantastic. His price is great. 4,100 for a guy playing that much minutes with that role on this team is someone I really like. It's just with Mo Wagner there and against Tristan Thompson and Kevin Love, the rebounding is not going to be there for him. He could get himself into some foul trouble. And there's some other guys I don't mind playing at the power forward side, particularly paying up for, which is why I'm on the fence with Davis Bertans. But by any means, he's a great value play in my books. Definitely a great GPP play and someone you should consider. Isaiah Thomas and Troy Brown. Both of these guys I feel are a little bit overpriced. Isaiah Thomas, not really, because we know what he could do. But after the last 2 games, and particularly in this matchup, I feel like it might be tough. It is a revenge game for him because Cleveland was pretty much where it all started going downhill for him after the Celtics traded him. Cleveland ended up trading him a couple of games after he came back from his injury, and it just created a big problem in this guy's life. So he's going to be super motivated, and just because of that factor, I'm considering him. He has real 30-point upside, but he is a little bit risky based on the last 2 games. If his shot's not falling, he still doesn't have enough ball handling duties to really be a great play in my books. He's still mainly just taking shots most of the time, and if they're not falling, he's not going to hit value. So a little risky in that regard. Troy Brown has a great matchup. He's going to have some consideration for me for sure. Eventually, this guy should be the starting shooting guard, small forward for this team. So far in the few games he's played, he's shown he can play really, really well. But there's a lot of guys today on this slate that I wouldn't mind getting to, so he's in light consideration for me. Next game we got here is the Memphis Grizzlies versus the Orlando Magic, and I feel sorry for these Grizzly players who play at a really fast pace, but Orlando is really going to slow you guys down. My favorite player on the Memphis Grizzlies is John Morant. I've loved this kid since the first day he's been playing in preseason. I just love what I've seen from him. He plays really like Russell Westbrook, but he's a little bit more efficient in my opinion. The price is a little bit up there. I wish his minutes were also up there like his price, but the minutes so far have been somewhat in the 28-minute range. His minutes have been not that great in my books. If he was getting 33 minutes, he'd be a lock, but 28 minutes is a little risky, especially against Orlando, who play at a really slow pace. Personally, I don't get to too much John Morant in my lineups today because of the matchup against Orlando. Orlando has done a really good job against some of the best point guards in the league, going back to Luka Doncic the other day. They've been doing a really good job on point guards in particular, so I'm not really too fond of most of these guys on this team. However, there's upside on this Memphis team. A lot of these guys could go out there and get it done at their price, like Dylan Brooks, 5,600. It's very, very risky at this price, but with no Grayson Allen, he just dropped 40 DraftKings points last game. There's some real upside with this guy, and he needs like 33 DraftKings points to hit value, and he just went out there and got 40. In this matchup against Orlando Magic, it'll be very tough. His ownership is going to be very low, so if he does manage to go do it, it'll be a great GPP play. Dylan Brooks just takes a lot of shots. If his shots are falling, he will hit value. It's just a matter of his shots. He's going to be getting a lot of minutes with Grayson Allen out and Tyus Jones questionable, so Dylan Brooks is going to see a huge usage bump. And definitely should be in consideration. It's just the price that's a little, it's a little up there, man. 5,600. It is scary. It is risky on 11-game slate. There's guys with a lot more upside, safer floors. This is strictly a GPP play. Someone I think has a lot of upside and the highest ceiling at this price range. Jay Crowder is another guy, 5,100. A great bounce back game after a poor performance, but this is exactly what Jay Crowder is prone to. He's prone to having good games and bad games. 5,100 is a fair price for the amount of usage he's getting and the minutes he's getting. Definitely in consideration, but it is a little bit risky in my opinion. The floor is not that safe. Valanciunas, on the other hand, is someone that could mess around and win you a GPP at 6,300. He's still seeing reduced minutes, but man, this guy has tremendous upside. It's just in this matchup against Vucevic and Orlando in general, I think he's going to be a little subdued. Not going to have that great of a matchup, but I've seen weirder things happen, and these are particularly the type of matchups where people have this gigantic thought in their head that there's just no way this guy's going to do good in this matchup, or this match is going to be super, super slow, and it ends up becoming super competitive, goes to overtime, all this junk. So definitely consider Jonas Valanciunas. Don't really just look at the matchup only and just fade him. Consider him. But yeah, I understand if you don't get to him because of the matchup scaring you, but you know, if you want to be different from the crowd, these are the type of things you have to target. Jaren Jackson and Brandon Clark are the honorable mentions I'm going to give to. Jaren Jackson's a walking foul. His price is fantastic now. He's no longer 7K. However, his minutes have been reduced a lot because he's been getting into too much foul trouble. With Brandon Clark and Jonas back into the mix, Jaren Jackson's really on the chopping block now, so he's really got to get his act straight. I like Brandon Clark more than I like Jaren Jackson. I'm pretty sure Jaren Jackson gets into foul trouble and boosts Brandon Clark's minutes anyways. So I'll be playing a lot of Brandon Clark, not a lot of Brandon Clark, but I will be playing some Brandon Clarks here and there in some lineups, hoping for Jaren Jackson foul trouble, but that's just me chasing and reaching. It's not a viable play by any stretch of the imagination. There's a lot of other guys we could get to here. The matchup's not great. There's a lot of guys that want to eat on this team. Lots of factors work against Brandon Clark, but again, as I said, to be a little bit different, sometimes you have to take a little bit of a bigger risk, and yes, it is a bigger risk, but the reward should be great if it pays out. So in slight consideration for me, not much. Honorable mention to Solomon Hill. He's been playing decently well. He has decent upside. If you were ever to get a boost in minutes, I would automatically play this guy at 3,100. So keep an eye on the news. And another honorable mention to Kyle Anderson, who's been playing great. He has a real role in this team as a defense 3-and-D guy, but this matchup is tough. I'm not really going to be getting to him much. On the Orlando Magic side, my favorite player is Aaron Gordon. I personally don't usually play Aaron Gordon all that much, but 6K in this matchup is a fantastic spot for him to go out there and smash. He's been playing okay. He's been having a string of decent performances. The matchup is great for him, particularly against this team. He may or may not have his hands full at times, but Jonathan Isaac is really the top defender here and taking the hardest role each and every night now. Aaron Gordon should go out there and have a good offensive night. Aaron Gordon's still 24 years old, man. I always forget that. He's still a young guy at the end of the day. He's prone to have off nights, but so far, the last few games, he's been good, and at 6K, I don't mind getting to him at all. Aside from that, Vucevic is always in play. 7,800 is a fantastic price up against Jonas, Jaren Jackson, and Brandon Clark. Two of those guys are inexperienced, and Jonas' defense is very, very underwhelming, to say the least. Vucevic should be in a good spot here to smash. 7,800 is a fantastic price for him. One of the better price centers, in my opinion, for his upside. Definitely going to get to some Vucevic. Jonathan Isaac coming off of his career game the other day. He is the future of this team and the second best player. He's one of the best defenders in the league already. He's going to have a fantastic game here. The price is decent for him, if not a little bit on the high end per se. However, Jonathan Isaac has flashed his offensive upside, his defensive upside. We know this guy is the real deal. His usage is still not that great, but it's getting there, and each and every day he's getting more and more involved offensively. Definitely someone I'm going to be considering. Evan Fournier is the guy, another guy I like after Gordon, I should say. He's probably my second favorite Magic. He's had a hat trick of stinkers, man. His ownership is going to be really low, and Evan Fournier is a guy that gets hot and he gets cold, and he's been really cold, so I'm hoping he gets hot. This is a great matchup for him to get hot. 4,400 is a fantastic price. With Markelle Fultz in the starting lineup, his ball handling and assist opportunities have gone down, but not that much. He's still going to be ball handling at times. He's still going to be dishing out assists. So definitely someone I'm going to be considering personally. On the fence with Markelle Fultz. He's had some decent performances, nothing to be excited about. If I play him, it'll be a GPP play only, but there's a lot of other guys at 4,300 or under that I like. Al-Farouq Aminu is having a renaissance season. He's going to be spending a lot of time running around chasing John Morant or Dylan Brooks, in my opinion, or even JJJ, Brandon Clark. So I'm not really too fond of him in this particular matchup. However, Al Farouk always has decent upside. He can knock down some shots when he takes them. So in play in that regard. And Terrence Ross, he's questionable. We know what Terrence Ross is about. If he gets hot, he can kill it, but it's rare. Michael Carter-Williams had one of those 10x games that he randomly has every now and then. He always has that 10x upside, even at a 4,100 DraftKings price, but it's very risky. I wouldn't really go with that, but I just have to mention it because he just hit 10x the other day. All right, next game, probably my favorite game to target, the Sacramento Kings versus the Atlanta Hawks. So, Harrison Barnes, De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield. All three of these guys I like. I love them in this matchup. My personal favorite is Harrison Barnes. I love Harrison Barnes. He's going to be the lowest owned in my opinion. He's been playing really well. The Hawks have been horrible against forwards, and Harrison Barnes should really benefit against this team in general. He's had some good performances, and 5,900 is a fair price for him. Buddy Hield, on the other hand, is priced fairly for the amount of upside he has. He's been dropping a lot of 36 DraftKings point. He's been dropping a lot of 36 DraftKings points per game so far this season. He's a real good three-point shooter, and the Hawks' defense or lack of it or whatever is really making me consider Buddy Hield another good option on this team. And De'Aaron Fox, the matchup is fantastic. Always target point guards against Atlanta. De'Aaron Fox at 8K definitely in play, but my favorite guy out of three would be Harrison Barnes. I just personally like Harrison Barnes, especially after what I saw with him in Toronto. Definitely going to be seeing a good amount of usage with Bagley out, and if Dwayne Dedmon's out, then even more to go around in my opinion. So I like Harrison Barnes. Another guy I'm going to be giving consideration to is Bogdan and Bielitsa. Both of these guys are going to be heavily involved in the Kings offense against the Hawks, because the Hawks just suck against forwards. These guys are seeing a decent amount of minutes, even coming off the bench. Their usage is good when they're on the court. Both of these guys have good three-point upside. They can get hot and get it done. So, slight consideration for me. And on defense with Trevor Ariza, one of these days he's going to have a great game. He's going to break out. But so far, it doesn't look like he's enjoying his time on the Kings. I don't blame him. But yeah, it's bound to happen one of these days. He's not that bad of a shooter. He just hasn't been making his shots at a reasonable rate. I mean, the last game he did, but overall he hasn't. So definitely someone to consider at 3,700. He's very cheap. He's still getting a good amount of minutes. And if he gets hot with this shot, which he can against the Hawks, he is a forward after all. Someone to consider. On the Hawks side, Trae Young is my favorite guy. Trae TL burned a lot of people the other night. A fantastic stinker by him. Really screwed me hard the other night. So his ownership is going to be low at the 8,900 price point. The matchup is the only reason why his ownership might be higher than it probably would be. It's the Kings. They're not, that great, and they do play at a fast pace. So great spot for Trae Young. Personally, one of my favorite point guards tonight, and guy I'll be playing a lot of. I don't mind going back to Trae Young. He had a bad game. He's allowed to have a bad game every now and then. Cam Reddish is questionable, so that means DeAndre Bembry, Parker, Hunter, all these guys are going to see an uptick in minutes usage along the board, as well as Herter. My personal favorite play here would be Herter at this price. His minutes have been increasing, and it's just a matter of time before his shot starts falling, man. He's a real streaky shooter. He's shown last year that he could, get really hot and really smash value. So out of the four guys I mentioned, he's the guy I like most based on the price and the ceiling. But Jabari Parker is very safe, even though the price is kind of up there now. He's very safe with the usage he's getting in John Collins' stead. Bembry and Hunter should both see a reasonable amount of uptick in usage and minutes. DeAndre Hunter in general, I've been playing this guy a lot. He's yet to really give me a return. He's eventually going to pick it up because he has the talent. It's just, it's coming. It's a slow step-by-step process. I'm still going to consider him tomorrow because of the minutes and the price, but not as much as I had been in the past. And DeAndre Bembry, I think I'll consider a little bit more than DeAndre Hunter. He should be in a good spot here against the Kings. His price is fantastic. The minutes should be up with no Reddish. But yeah, if Reddish is out, then Herter's the guy I like the most. Aside from that, not really too interested in anybody else here. Next game we have is the Golden State Warriors versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. And honestly, I hate trying to think about the Golden State Warriors. A lot of these guys can get it done, and a lot of these guys are overpriced. Case in point, Kai Bowman. Kai Bowman the other day, people chased him, and he like took a blowtorch to all of their lineups. So, really stunk it up. I don't think a lot of people chase him again this day, tonight, but I'm staying away in general from a lot of these guys. We have to keep an eye on D'Angelo Russell. He's questionable. If he plays, he's automatically my top Golden State Warrior. D'Angelo Russell and Karl-Anthony Towns are great friends, so if he plays, he's going to want to ball out against his boys. So I love him. I love D'Angelo Russell if he plays. If he doesn't play, then Alex Burke and Damian Lee would be the two guys I wouldn't mind getting to. Alex Burke only if D'Angelo Russell is out. If D'Angelo Russell is in, scratch Alex Burks. But Damian Lee should still be good in either case. He comes off the bench. He plays the most minutes off the bench, and he has great upside, a great ceiling, somewhat of a decent floor as well for the price. So Damian Lee is someone I'd consider somewhat confidently. I'm not really too confident about any one of these guys, but Damian Lee would be the one guy I'm somewhat confident in. And Alec Burke if D'Lo misses again. But yeah, Eric Pascal is a little bit too overpriced in my opinion. He's prone to being inconsistent going back to preseason. We've seen it. Glenn Robinson, same thing. He's prone to be inconsistent. However, Glenn Robinson's another guy I wouldn't mind too much getting to. He does a little bit of everything. He is one of the main starters that was starting even when all the other guys were still playing. So he's one of their main cogs, so I don't mind getting to him. The minutes are there, the usage is there, the upside is there. So he's another guy I don't mind getting to. I'm on the fence with him, to be honest. And then Jordan Poole, another guy I'm on the fence with. He has yet to have a good shooting night. He has had some good DFS nights, but no good shooting night. He's done those through peripherals. He's taking 16, 18 shots and making 3 of them. So if this kid's shot's going to fall, he's going to smash it. 4,700 is a decent price for someone that could go out there and smash it. He's someone that beat Klay Thompson in a shot-for-shot shootout. I don't know. I know that doesn't really mean much, but the Warriors, for what it's worth, are really high on Jordan Poole's shooting. Steve Kerr has compared him to a young Klay Thompson. So this kid definitely has a lot of talent, lots of upside. His shot hasn't been falling. When it does, he's going to smash it. So he's on the fence for me. Aside from that, not really too fond of anybody. Willie Cauley-Stein got into foul trouble last game. He is a great PPM player. But there's some other guys at the center spot I'm probably going to be getting to. So light consideration. Same with Omari Spellman. He's more safer than Chris, but his minutes aren't not there. And I don't know. I don't really get too much Spellman at 4,500. On the Timberwolves side, Andrew Wiggins, believe it or not, the guy I don't usually like is the guy I like, especially if Teague is out. Only if Teague is out. If Teague is out, I like Wiggins at 7,100. He's had some great games. He's really bought into Coach Ryan Saunders' philosophy. He's been playing great this season. Can't complain. I can't knock Wiggins so far this season. He's been playing good. It's almost borderline where I'm gonna have to issue an apology. But I sincerely doubt that. But Andrew Wiggins definitely, for the sake of this game against Golden State, against their scrubs, and although Wiggins likes to play against good competition, I can see him going and doing well here with the coaches behind him. With this coach, he's really a changed player, in all honesty. So I gotta wipe the slate with Andrew Wiggins and start giving him a clean, non-biased opinion. So this is day one of me giving a non-biased opinion on Andrew Wiggins. I like him. He's in play, okay? But if he does bad, don't kill me, because we know deep down in my heart what I really think of him. But clean slate for today, okay? Clean slate, all right? Clean slate. Short-term memory, STM. All right, Karl-Anthony Towns. It's a long-term memory with Andrew Wiggins, man. Anyways, all right, Karl-Anthony Towns, the other guy I really, really like. At this price, he's in play, 100%. 10,300 is very cheap for the amount of usage, the matchup. Who's really going to stop Karl-Anthony Towns? Let's be real. On the Warriors, who's going to stop him? Only himself. So Karl-Anthony Towns 100% in play for me. Aside from that, Travion Graham, if Jeff Teague is out, is the guy I don't mind at 3,600. He's been playing decent minutes throughout the season. Same with Jake Layman. It's just Jake Layman's upside is nothing really to be excited about. Travion Graham, on the other hand, has flashed some upside in some games. This is a particular matchup which should bode well for him, so he's someone I'm going to be considering. And Jared Culver I'm on the fence with. Not really interested with him because of the price, but if Jeff Teague is out, I might take a little bit more of a gander than I did the other day. He really went off the other day, and I did have some of him, but I didn't have enough of him. So definitely someone I'm on the fence with and keeping an eye on. The next game we got is the Toronto Raptors versus the New Orleans Pelicans, a rematch of opening night. So my favorite player on the Raptors would be either Siakam or Lowry. Honestly, both of these guys are playing decent. Siakam's price is a little bit up there now, but Lowry's not that bad. Lowry's been always good at the start of the season. He always plays good at the start of the season. Last year he led the league in assists, and this year he leads the league in 3-point attempts. So he's been really well to start the year. 8,300 is not a bad price for him, especially in this matchup. However, it is a little bit high compared to some of the other guards. Personally, I get to some of the other guards. However, Lowry's safe. His usage has really gone up with no Kawhi, with no DeRozan. So Kyle Lowry is, again, the second option. Not all the time, but he's the main second option. Sometimes he's the first option, too. Siakam and Lowry, I don't mind getting to. Siakam's just a beast. Some days he's not going to have a great game, but this is a fantastic matchup for him. I don't really know who really stops Siakam. Like, it's going to be tough, especially if Lonzo doesn't play and JJ Redick is out. It's going to be a little bit tough really containing Siakam. He already went off against him in the first game, so another game for him to really do well. OG Anunoby, I'm on the fence with. His price puts me off, but his usage and production so far this season have been fantastic. I love what I've seen from him. He's been playing really, really well, and even at 5,800, he's still getting 5.2x value, so it's reasonable. There's just other people at this price range I personally will be getting to, so that's why I'm on the fence with him. But a great player, playing great, in form, nothing really wrong with him. It's just the price. Gasol has been inconsistent. His shot has not been falling. He's a shadow of his former self. He's not that bad of a player, and eventually he's going to pick it up, but will it happen today? I'm not sure. The Pelicans do play at a faster pace compared to a lot of the other teams. And if there is no Derek Favors, then they're definitely going to be playing at a faster pace, which makes me not like Marc Gasol all that much. Ibaka, on the other hand, is a great GPP play. He's going to be playing a lot in this matchup. His minutes have been more than Gasol. His price is more than Gasol, too, because he's been playing really, really well. He has tremendous upside. His floor is decent as well, so someone I'm definitely going to be considering. And an honorable mention to Norman Powell. With McCall out, Norman Powell's minutes are going to be a little bit more than they were. Matt Thomas as well. But Norman Powell is a big game player. Norman Powell doesn't care about shitty teams or games like this. So Norman Powell is not really going to go out there and have a crazy night. If it was a bigger game, I'd be all over Norman Powell. But for a game like this, Norman Powell doesn't really give a damn. Alright. The Pelicans. So my favorite Pelican is Brandon Ingram. Honestly, he's 8,100. I don't mind the price at all. He's been playing out of his mind. He's one of the best players. He's one of the most informed players in the league right now. He's been playing at a really, really high rate. And I just love it. I'm going to be playing Brandon Ingram. I don't mind getting to Brandon Ingram. Definitely someone to consider. Aside from Brandon Ingram, Jrue Holiday has been a consistent, reliable force for the Pelicans. They're going to need consistent play for him to be successful. Now that he's back from that little bit of an injury layoff, and with Lonzo Ball out or questionable, I like Jrue Holiday. I like Jrue Holiday a lot if Lonzo's out. However, if Lonzo's in, I might dial back a little bit, but definitely someone to consider at 7,900. Not a bad price point at all for his usage, the minutes, the upside. Definitely in play. I'm on the fence with Josh Hart and Jahlil Okafor. Both of these guys really depend on if Derek Favors is playing and not going to be minutes restricted, and if JJ Redick is playing. If JJ Redick is not playing, I love Josh Hart. If Derek Favors is going to play 8 minutes again, I like Okafor. Aside from that, Jackson Hayes gets honorable mention only if Favors is not playing or restricted. He's seeing a good amount of minutes. His price is reasonably cheap, and I love this kid as a GPP play. He could go out there and have a fantastic game. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, if Lonzo is out, I will consider him or Frank Jackson. Either or, both of these guys should see an uptick in minutes, particularly if JJ Redick is out as well. So keep an eye on the news really for JJ Redick here and Lonzo Ball. If Lonzo and JJ are out, then Josh Hart is definitely a guy I love. Jrue I like, and then Frank Jackson and Nickeil Alexander get considerations from me. Aside from that, not too interested on anybody here. Next game, New York Knicks versus the Dallas Maverick, and some revenge game narratives here. Well, Dennis Smith's not playing, so there goes that. But my favorite play on the Knicks, would be RJ Barrett or Julius Randle. RJ Barrett, rest is for the week. He's been playing a ridiculous amount of minutes. I think one of the highest amount of minutes in the league. He's had subpar after subpar performances for the amount of minutes he's been playing. The price is getting up there. He really needs 38, 39 DraftKings points to hit value. He's been averaging around 33, 34. So, oh yeah, he's been averaging 34. I have it right here. So, he's been averaging around 34 DraftKings points. And at this price, he's still getting 5x value. The matchup is alright in my opinion. He could go out there and have a great game, but it's a little risky. Same thing with Julius Randle. He could go out there and have a great game. He's had a string of mediocre performances back to back to back now. But with Mitchell Robinson out, you should see more secure offensive usage, in my opinion. The minutes are still good. The minutes are always going to be good. It's just the offensive opportunity with Mitchell Robinson on the court for Julius Randle. They had positional issues, so they were kind of playing each other out of position and causing problems for each other. But yeah, Bobby Portis should be a good play with Mitchell Robinson out. His minutes should be secure now. His role should be secure at least until Mitchell Robinson comes back. So definitely in play at 5,500. He has great upside, a great GPP play for me. I just personally hate the matchup. He could get into foul trouble. But as a GPP play, I don't mind. You know what Bobby Portis can do. He can go out there and smash it. Marcus Morris, on the other hand, 5,800. Risky play based on the price. The usage and minutes are there. It's just personally, I'm not feeling Marcus Morris at 5,800. I'd rather play Kevin Knox in GPP's 3,800. His minutes should also be a little bit increased here. And the guy I'm on the fence with is Taj Gibson. He started in place of Mitchell Robinson. If Taj Gibson is going to start and he's going to play around 18 to 20 minutes, then he's definitely in play for me at 3,200. He has huge upside. He's yet to really go off in the this season. He's only been averaging 12 minutes per se in the 6 game he's played. Very limited usage, very limited run. But with Mitchell Robinson out, he's probably going to be the guy that picks up the slack there. So I don't mind getting to some Taj Gibson. However, I personally feel that Bobby Portis is going to take the bulk of those minutes. On the Dallas side, Kristaps Porzingis, revenge game. I love Kristaps Porzingis here. 7,600 is a great price for him. He's had some inconsistent subpar performances, but bad games were to be expected. Both of the bad games that he had in the last 4 games were against tougher matchups, the Lakers and Orlando. So as expected, up against the Knicks, he should be in a fantastic spot to just go off here. A lot of players have been having career games against the Knicks, so why not Porzingis? Doncic, on the other hand, 9,800, another guy that's always going to be in play for me. I love Doncic, man. This guy's a real triple-double threat right now, too. The matchup is fantastic. He could go out there and cook the Knicks, so definitely in play for me. Dwight Powell is the other guy I really like. He's got 33 minutes in the last game. His minutes are back. His usage is there. I love what I've seen from him. And if Maxi Kleber, Dorian Finney-Smith are going to be restricted or limited or out or anything of that sort, then he's an automatic lock for me. At 4,400, I love the upside. I love the minutes. I love everything about Dwight Powell. Even if Kleber and Dorian Finney-Smith are playing their regular minutes, I still like Dwight Powell. Nothing wrong with him. The matchup is fantastic for him. I definitely will be playing a lot of him. I'm on the fence with JJ Barea. He played 17 minutes last game. He's very risky, but the upside's there at this price point. He could go out there and get 30 DraftKings points, hit 10x, no problemo. But it is risky, so I'm on the fence with him. Aside from that, I'm not really too keen on any one of these Dallas guys. Maxi Kleber, Dorian Finney-Smith, DeLon Wright, Tim Hardaway, Brunson, Seth Curry, Justin Jackson, Courtney Lee, Boban. These guys still have a very deep rotation. They're still trying to figure out their best lineups and rotation. So they're going to be playing guys in and out. Some days, some guys are going to be getting more minutes than they should. Some days, some guys aren't going to be getting more minutes than they should. What I do know is Dwight, Porzingis, and Doncic are key staples in this offense, which is why they're the 3 guys I'm most comfortable with going with. Next game, Milwaukee versus Utah. This one's going to be a good game to watch from a defensive standpoint. Both good defensive team with decent offensive upside. Giannis and Middleton are my 2 favorite Bucks. Giannis is probably a little bit under the field for me based on the price. There's a lot of guys I like that are studs today, and Giannis kind of falls somewhere in the middle of that. Definitely has the most upside, in my opinion. But there's other guys I could get to that'll be a little bit cheaper, that'll allow me to get better pieces, in my opinion. Chris Middleton, on the other hand, 6,300, small forward eligible. I definitely don't mind getting to him. He's gonna be used a lot. The Jazz are really gonna try and get the ball out of Giannis's hands. So Bledsoe and Middleton should really benefit from that. Bledsoe's the other guy I don't mind getting to. It's a tougher matchup for all of these guys in general, but they should still be good at these prices. Have decent upside here, safe floors in my book. So I don't mind getting to these guys. Brook Lopez had a fantastic game, but I don't think he's gonna have a great game here. He could. I'm on the fence with him. Just like I'm on the fence with Ilyasova. Ilyasova's been getting 5x, 6x every single night. He's been getting 18 to 20 DraftKings points. He had a bad night the other night, but he's yet to have his GPP winning upside game where he knocks down 5 3-pointers, gets a shit ton of rebounds, and just goes off. He's 3,300. He's very cheap. He has great upside, man. The floor is safe with him. He's not going to kill you, but he's not going to win you a GPP by getting you 18 or 20 DraftKings points. However, his upside is there. The ceiling is huge, so he's in play for me based on that. Same with Brook Lopez. If Brook Lopez gets hot from 3, he can smash it. It doesn't happen often, but it can happen, so I'm on the fence. George Hill, an honorable mention. He had a 10x game off the bench the other night. He's another guy that's very safe in my books. If you need a cheap value play, if you don't mind 6x at this price, and definitely someone to consider. However, I personally go with Ilyasova over Hill. Just more peripheral upside, and George Hill, you know, he's not gonna go and get you these numbers every single night. Some days he's gonna be a dud, like he was the previous night when I did pick him. So it's a little risky in that book, but definitely these guys are key components off the bench. Their minutes are secured, their roles are secured, and they do have upside. So based on that, they're in consideration. On the Utah Jazz, I don't really like much on the Utah Jazz. Bojan Bogdanovic would probably be the guy I like the most on the Jazz. He's been in great form recently, and he's probably my favorite Jazz tonight. Sorry. Yeah, so Bojan's probably my favorite Jazz on the night. Going up against the Milwaukee Bucks, they're going to need his 3-point shooting and his offensive talents to really make it tough on the Bucks defense. The Bucks are very good defensively. But yeah, Bojan's definitely my favorite Jazz player. Mitchell Robinson and Rudy Gobert would come in right after that. Both of their prices kind of put me off, but I'm okay with Rudy Gobert. Monsieur Gobert had a very good game against Embiid, and I think he carries it forward against the Milwaukee Bucks. Yeah, and Donovan Mitchell, Spider, he's a very good player, and him and Rudy have been playing very, very good together. I'm kidding. Rudy Gobert is in play. Donovan Mitchell's in play. I don't really have too much to say about them. I'm not too high on them. The matchup is tough, but they have upside. They're good players. I don't get to too much Donovan or Rudy Gobert. I'd much rather play Bojan and pay up or pay down at those spots for some other guys. But Bojan's the guy I don't mind here. Mike Conley is a risky play in my book, but one of the guys that could definitely get it done for Utah today. This is the type of matchup where everybody's going to sleep on Conley, and he's going to go out there and have the best night out of all the Utah Jazz players. So I'm considering him. These are the type of matchup where Conley really shines under the radar. So I don't mind getting to Mike Conley. On the fence with Tony Bradley. I'm not going to get to him much in an 11-game slate, but he's the primary backup with Ed Davis out. He's still seeing only 14 minutes. So it's risky based on that, but the upside, if he's going to be getting a good amount of minutes, then he could definitely go out there and smash, because in the limited amount of minutes he's played well. But the minutes aren't there, so I'm on the fence. Probably not today, but someone to keep an eye on for the future. And then Jingles, man. Jingles has a mediocre floor with limited upside. He can get you 40 DraftKings points, but it's rare. Not someone I'm really looking at tomorrow. Then the next game we have is the 76ers versus Denver. Another tough defensive game here for both teams. Philly's missing Simmons, so that might put Raul Neto into play. He really came on the court after Simmons got injured and played 30 minutes last game. He might be the starter. If he's a starter, he's definitely in play. One of the best value plays, probably one of the chalkiest value plays on the night. But Tobias Harris is my favorite Sixer. I don't mind Tobias Harris at all. 6,400 is a great price for him. He's gonna have to handle the ball a little bit more. He's going to see a usage bump here. Offensively, he's going to have to do more a little bit. So I don't mind him at all. 6,400 is a fair price for Tobias. Al Horford's the other guy I like, 6K. He's going to be really important in how he spaces, pulls Jokic and Millsap away from the basket and all that. It'll be a great matchup to watch, in my opinion. I personally am intrigued how this match turns out. But Tobias and Al Horford are two guys I'm pretty confident playing with. Raul Neto is a good value play if he's going to be the starter. Josh Richardson at this price is a little bit risky. And Joel Embiid at 10-4. I don't know how much Joel Embiid I get to. Denver's a pretty tough matchup in general. Embiid could get Jokic into foul trouble or vice versa. Both of these guys are going to make it tough on each other. They might foul out. They might, get into a fight. There's a lot of things in my head that makes me not like Joel Embiid tonight. So, personally, at this price point, I'm not really considering Joel Embiid all that much. He could definitely go out there and get it done. But in 28 minutes, I'm not super excited about that. All these other guys, I'm not really too keen on. I could pass. But between James Ennis, Korkmaz, and Thibault, someone's going to have to get a usage bump. Someone's going to have to really be productive off the bench. And so far it's been Korkmaz, but James Ennis does have that upside. And Thibault hasn't found the shot yet, but he's one of the best defenders they got. On the Denver side, Jokic at 8,500 is too damn cheap, man. If he takes more shots, which he's shown he has been in the last few games, starting with the second quarter in the second last game, he took way more shots, got way more involved in the offense. If Jamal Murray stops ball hogging the goddamn ball and passes the ball, then maybe some of these other guys can have great games. But Jamal Murray just hogs the ball way too much, man. He's a ball hog. Screw Jamal Murray. But Jokic's my favorite play on the Denver Nuggets. 8,500 is a great price for him. He's yet to have a fantastic game of his standards, so definitely in play for me. Aside from that, Will Barton and Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray's a ball hog, man. His usage is through the roof. The price is fair. If he's going up against Raul Neto, he should have an easier time, in my opinion. So Jamal Murray is the guy I'll be considering, but it is a tough defensive matchup in general, so not too much. I'm not too excited about Jamal Murray. Will Barton if Gary Harris is out. I like Will Barton if Gary Harris is out. His price did increase by almost 900 from the other day. He was the same price as Gary Harris, but he went off. His price went up. And he has that upside. He could go out there and go off, so definitely in play for me. But with Gary Harris out, Malik Beasley, Torrey Craig, these two guys are the guys that are going to be seeing a good amount of usage bump. I would say Malik Beasley is the direct replacement for Gary Harris. So he's the guy I'd probably be looking at most as a good value play. But Torrey Craig's the other guy that plays a good amount of minutes and I can get it done. Paul Millsap in this matchup, the pace of the matchup should be good for Millsap to stay on the court. However, there's other guys I'd rather like, but definitely in consideration for me. I'm on the fence with Millsap. Maybe if other news opens up throughout the day, I might get more on Millsap. But as of this moment, I'm on the fence with them. And some of these other guys I'm not really too fond of. Plumlee, if Jokic gets into foul trouble, that's the only time Plumlee is going to go off. If Millsap gets into foul trouble or if he's taken off because the pace of the matchup is too high, then Jeremy Grant becomes a play. But overall, not too excited about those guys. Second last game, Brooklyn Nets versus the Portland Trailblazers. Jared Allen, if he's starting, is my favorite play on the Nets, followed by Spencer Dinwiddie coming off the bench. A great price for both of these guys for their minutes, their usage, their upside. I don't mind getting to these guys at all in this matchup. Kyrie Irving, LeVert, Taurean Prince, I don't mind either three of these guys. Kyrie I would probably play more than the other two. Because the other two's prices are a little bit high in my opinion, especially on an 11-game slate. But Kyrie Irving is someone that could definitely get it done. He's been playing really, really well. I like Kyrie mainly as a GPP play. I don't really feel safe playing him in cash because there is a lot of mouths to feed on any given night. Any one of these guys could just take away the usage from Kyrie. But as a GPP play, I don't mind him at all. LeVert and Prince have been great. They've really been playing well. I don't see why that doesn't continue. It's just the price that personally puts me off on an 11-game slate. Otherwise, I'd play them a lot. Joe Harris, 5,100, kind of shot dependent, but he's playing a lot of minutes. His usage is not that great either. However, he does have a lot of upside if he gets hot with his shots like he did the past 2 games. So definitely someone to consider. Personally, I am not, but definitely someone you could consider. On the Portland side, Damian Lillard finally had a bad game. by his standards. He didn't get 50 plus DraftKings points. Bounce back spot for him against Kyrie, who doesn't really play defense. But the Brooklyn Nets tried to make it tough on the opposition. However, Lillard is in a great spot here at 9K. I don't mind him. McCollum at 6K is probably the guy I get to most. 6K is very cheap for McCollum. He did have another great game. Not great, but good game. He got 34 DraftKings points, almost 6x. The matchup here should be good, and if he keeps that form from yesterday, not the fourth quarter form, the first 3 quarter forms, then we should be good. In the fourth quarter, this guy did nothing. Everything he did was the first 3 quarter. Hassan Whiteside, on the other hand, did absolutely atrociously in that first half, but in that second half, he became like, I don't know, Hakeem Olajuwon or some shit, bro. They couldn't stop him. He was a beast. He just dummied the mans. And at 6,500, back to back, he may be limited, but it's a great matchup. Nets suck against center. We always target centers against the Nets, so definitely someone I'm going to be keeping my eye on. If he's not going to be limited and see the same amount of minutes he has been the past few games, definitely in play for me. It's just with his age, his size, his injury history, I personally feel he may be limited here. But Portland is undermanned, so maybe he's not. Between Rodney Hood, Tolliver, Bazemore, Herzonia, all of these guys are inconsistent as hell. Their minutes suck. They're all getting around 20 minutes per game. Rodney Hood's still getting more minutes per game, but he's the most inconsistent out of all of those guys. Still, if I had to pick someone, it would be Rodney Hood. I like Hood. Yeah, I like Hood a lot more than I like any one of these guys. But keep an eye on the news. As of this moment, some of these guys are questionable, so just keep an eye out. If Hood is out, or Tolliver, Bazemore, any one of these guys are out, then I like Hazonia. But as it stands, I'd probably go with Rodney Hood here because of his minutes and usage on the team. On the Miami Heat side, I'm on the fence with Kendrick Nunn right off the bat. I told you guys I'd play more than 50% Kendrick Nunn, and I did. I think I showed it to you guys that I did. If I didn't, here, I'll show it to you. I played a lot of Kendrick Nunn yesterday. My night would have been even better if Kendrick Nunn came through. But yeah, these are all Kendrick Nunns, man. Kendrick Nunn. So I played a lot of Kendrick Nunn. As you can see, I'm a man of my word. I said I'd play more than 50% Kendrick Nunn. If I didn't, you should unsubscribe. But I did. So if you still haven't subscribed, you should subscribe. But yeah, Kendrick Nunn, I'm on the fence. So if you're 5,000 is a great price for him. He's going up against the Lakers though, man. This is not a great matchup for Kendrick Nunn. I'm really on the fence with him after last night, especially if Justice Winslow is back. However, he's in a concussion protocol, so I doubt that. But Kendrick Nunn, he's kind of coming back down to earth after that hot start to the season where everybody was singing his praises. But point guards have done well against Lakers. Check the history. Going back to the last few games, point guards have been doing decently well against the Lakers, and I don't mind playing Kendrick Nunn or Goran Dragic, but personally, I'm on the fence with Kendrick Nunn right now. Maybe as the day progresses, I feel more confident in him, so check my Twitter for that, but as of this moment, I'm on the fence. Kelly Olynyk is the actual guy I like. I know that's surprising to a lot of people, but Kelly Olynyk at 3,800, he had a great game yesterday. Decent. It wasn't enough, but it was a decent showing. I like what I saw. If he plays like that again today, definitely could go out there and smash it. He's gonna be needed against the Lakers. His aggression for sure is gonna be needed. So he's in play for me. But aside from that, Bam Adebayo would be the other guy I consider, but I'm not because of the matchup. It's a tough matchup, but he's in consideration. Has to be. Myers Leonard, Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, I'm not really too fond of. Tyler Hero could have a decent game if Nunn is sucking it up, so I'm on the fence with him too. I'm either going to play one of these two guys. Play more Nunn than Tyler Hero on any given day, but this is just one of those days where I feel there's something that's telling me Tyler Hero could have a good game. I can't put my finger on it, but there's something that's telling me. However, if Waiters is playing or anything like that, then I'll probably get off of Tyler Hero. I'm on the Lakers. Honestly, I'm not really excited about any Laker except for Anthony Davis. I'm on the fence with all the other guys, but Anthony Davis, I don't mind getting to at all. He's stunk it up a few games in a row night. Burned a lot of people. LeBron's more expensive than him now. So I like Anthony Davis. It's a late game. He's going to be in a great matchup here. I don't really know who stops Anthony Davis on the Heat, so definitely someone I'll be playing a lot of. One of my more favorable studs. LeBron I get to, but not as much as I had been in the past. The price is kind of there now where it's putting me off. And plus knowing that he's getting that ball hog reputation again where he's hogging the ball and not really, letting other guys do much with it is gonna start to eat at him, and eventually Anthony Davis is gonna take the mantle like he did the first few games. Keep an eye on Avery Bradley. That's a very key piece of news. If Avery Bradley plays, I love him. If he doesn't play, I like Caruso and Quinn Cook. Quinn Cook more than Caruso. Definitely will be playing Quinn Cook if Avery Bradley is out. But also considering Alex Caruso. Both of these guys have been fantastic, have good upside. A little risky, but they have good upside, great GPP plays. And Dwight Howard is also a good GPP play in my book. It should be a good spot for him. The minutes should be there in my opinion, so definitely he can go out there and have a good game. But aside, that's pretty much it, guys. Anthony Davis on the Lakers, the guy I truly like. LeBron, Quinn Cook are the other guys, and Dwight Howard. Aside from that, I'm not really too fond of anybody. And that's pretty much it for my take today. These are the guys I like. If you want access to my spreadsheet, DM me your email on Twitter, and I will share the spreadsheet with you so you can see my notes. Maybe you can't see it on the screen, so you can blow it up and all that. And yeah, if you haven't, please hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. And as always, best of luck tonight, guys. We're going to kill it. Take care and see you next time. Bye-bye.